Oh yeah. Yeah.
Can't get their family to play the game with them, then they're missing out on that part of the process. So I downloaded that, uploaded these cards, put it on there, and that's sort of how we're doing it in the moment. But for now, which is strictly about the mechanics of it, not the bells and whistles of any animations or anything like this. But obviously, as soon as we have something like that available, we will be advertising that to our core community members first. But then once it's available, we'll be pushing that out for more people to come and test or even have a look. It may even be possible for I'd probably say maybe not the general public, but we could probably say something like certain tiers of members in Discord might be able to join and watch any of the live streams that I do with other community members playing and testing those mechanics. So there may be opportunity for that, but it's still watch the space for anything to be super exciting and flashy with all the bells and whistles. That's all. Did you have anything to add to that, David?
I lost track of it. I tried. I started recording, so I lost track
of that. Oh damn! Game demos. So they're asking about being able to test the game demo. Yep.
Yeah. So there is a paper prototype, and I have been handing it out to whoever's interested. So if you're interested in playing the paper prototype, which generally means printing out cards, go ahead and you can ping for that, and I'll give it to you. In terms of playing the game, otherwise, there's the tabletop simulator that Ben put together, but it doesn't enforce any rules, so you sort of have to pay attention to what you're doing. And then we're developing our own prototype, so you can either wait for that or play the paper prototype or try it out in tabletop and see which one works for you. But I will say that the paper prototype that I've released so far does not have the abilities and things that will be coming up later on. So you can get a basic idea of what the game will be like, but obviously we'll be expanding on what's out there.
Awesome. Can you put tabletop version on YouTube? What do you think about that, Dave? Putting the tabletop version if on YouTube if the community help me with this maybe, and we do the new version of the cards that are graphically looking like they should roughly at the end. We probably upload that, get all that sorted, get the deck sorted and everything, and put it on YouTube. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, we can do
Start doing that.
Yeah.
Yep. Jason, sorry, go.
Yeah, go for it. No, I'm just seeing there are some other questions here from Rainbow Top Gun. It's a great name, by the way. So we are working out the economics of the game, functionality within both the marketplace and also eventual game launch. We can't give any sort of commercial structure at this stage, but what we can say is that we want to make it as accessible for as many people as possible globally. But then obviously with the whole concept of NFTs and collectors and rareables and all that sort of thing, there will be components of a more sort of, a premium type arena. But fundamentally, we want to make this game as accessible as possible to as many people around the world. Okay, so hopefully that addresses that. We haven't pinned down the exact economics of it, but we will do that. And when we are ready to share that, we'll obviously come out with that. And then another great question from Rainbow Top Gun is high APRs. Okay, so we've just done this Michael Carter Williams staking pool, single staking pool. We want to get some traction on that, but then we've got another liquidity pool in the pipeline that we're going to be launching in a few weeks, or a couple, I don't know, it could be next week or something. But we'll keep you posted on that. It should be high APR, but it is a little bit more complicated. And the way, or the reason rather, why we wanted to start with single staking is because technically opening up to, the Michael Carter Williams crew, it would be fairly noobs. They wouldn't be, or degen orientated, or someone that could understand liquidity pools. So we wanted to start with a single staking where it's fairly straightforward in comparison, of course. But then we're going to be launching liquidity pools in a few weeks' time. So yeah, you'll have other options to obviously earn a higher yield. Cool.
Good. Do you have any? So Jason was asking, when will the marketplace launch? So, I mean, as we're going from startup to company, we're having to form departments and everything like this. So, do you have insights there, Philip, or Dave, on the crossover with your tech team on the marketplace progress?
It's going well.
Yeah, it's going well. It's going according to plan, as far as crypto can go. Look, we can't give a definitive date yet, but we are on track. And it looks like it's going to be a couple months, so we're not going to be waiting too long. All we can say from this at this point is that we are on track to deliver, and Janet and the teams are working, burning both sides of the candle, and it's looking really, really good. So the last iteration, the sneak peeks that we showed in terms of the marketplace has come a long, nice way. The usability, the functionality of it all is looking great. So we are on track to deliver. But giving you an exact date, we don't want to paint ourselves into a corner, because there might be a little bit of changes along the way. And we just want to make sure that we are launching a really shiny product before it becomes available to the market.
Yeah, don't do anything based on the short term. We're thinking long term here anyways.
Yeah.
So don't try to play with the market. Just invest and wait.
Hodl. That sort of segues into this one. This is a good run, and I think we can all sort of comment on this as well. How do you say it? Easy Marcel. What is LOCG doing to be a top contender in the GameFi and NFT space?
When?
No, what is LOCG doing to be a top contender in the GameFi and NFT space? So what sets us apart from the competition?
What's GameFi?
Aside from you, David.
Oh.
Like DeFi NFT games.
Oh, gotcha.
Wow.
Well, I mean, it kind of is me, I guess, in a way.
Whoa.
So I mean,
we're not worthy.
No, we're not worthy. We're not worthy.
No. I mean, I'm not trying to toot my own horn.
I'll say it for you then. Over 2 decades experience creating mainstream games that most of us have played, and if you have not played, you would have heard of them. And let's be real, how many crypto projects have actually gone to the lengths of obtaining that talent?
Not many.
Yeah. So if I say it, it takes the pressure off you, Dave.
Yeah, I think
easier.
I want to add to that. Look, I read the game design, the game mechanics, and I did say to you, Dave, I think it was a couple weeks back, but I did say the beauty of the game design is its simplicity. And I think, when you talk or you compare it to other more complex games, especially in the sort of the play to earn environment, they start becoming really, really convoluted and complicated, and barriers of entry, become too high for your average person to participate. And I think that's going to be a challenge for your likes of the Axes and the rest of it. So what we want to try to do is we want to keep that the game mechanics as easy as possible. Easy to onboard, but very difficult to master. I think, Dave, that's how you kind of label it. But then also just in terms of like the way it's like the block structure is designed, which I found really, really cool, was that with all these partnerships and with all of these additional layers that we can introduce to a narrative, it becomes a never-ending, limitless universe of options. And this is the beautiful sort of metric design that Dave has done, because there isn't a starting point and an ending point. It can just be a never-ending kind of beautiful labyrinth of option and opportunity. And I think that is that's probably going to keep the community engaged, obviously extremely long term, but it's going to get people on board from the onset. So that would be like, I mean, just from a business perspective, I would say that's kind of like our key differentiator.
Yeah.
In terms of the games that I've worked on, I saw that question from Elma. Warcraft 3, World of Warcraft, Oddworld Stranger's Wrath, which is one of those unsung heroes.
Oh, you did that one too?
I did. Then
there goes my childhood.
Yeah, Silent Hill, Homecoming. There's a bunch of games that you guys probably don't care about. Little Big Planet for the Vita was actually really cool.
That's cool.
Assassin's Creed Identity, the first mobile Assassin's Creed. And then I did a bunch of mobile stuff that most people don't care about. Most recently, the AAA game that I worked on that I enjoyed the most, I did a lot of writing for Wasteland 3, which is a really good game that you should all play. If you like tactics games like, what's it called? I want to say Infocom, but it's not that. What's the game where you're fighting aliens? And it's like turn-based strategy. Turn-based tactics. XCOM, that's the one. So if you like XCOM, you'd probably like Wasteland 3. It's got the humor of Fallout, but with the tactics of the XCOM. It's basically from the original Wasteland, which became Fallout later when they couldn't get the license back. I did say World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft, I was a quest designer early on, and I helped design a bunch of the early quests. They're probably all gone now. I know that there's a few characters that I wrote still in there, like Whizbang Crank Toggle is still over in Aberdeen, but most of them got destroyed in Cataclysm, which I think was a shitty expansion.
What's your favorite expansion?
For Warcraft? None, because I only worked on the core game, so screw up.
Oh, so everything else is just garbage. Garbage.
It was. No, they made a lot of bad decisions too that I'm still upset about. Like I actually got into arguments with people about like, oh, if you have, if you want to have a quest where you get tusks from pigs, they should drop 2, and they would argue like, no, sometimes they have to drop none, and I'm like, why? Just raise the amount you want to get from them. And yeah, it was really annoying.
Just annoy me.
It was just because that was what they did in EverQuest, and the drops they had super rare drops and stuff. It was just annoying to me. I'm like, don't copy the bad things, only copy the good things.
So Dave, with Axie, they've got the earning model that they have, which I don't know is some might say controversial for different reasons, but they do try to provide ways around the hurdles among that. Like I believe they had the scholarship program to make it easier for people to overcome that barrier to entry. So I mean, I know we don't have the exact model locked down because, and I think everyone does appreciate these sorts of things take time to formulate, create, test, and before you implement anything. So we know it's not finalized, but is there anything you can mention along those lines, or the things that we've been exploring?
Sure. I mean, a large part of what we're concerned about is the ethical components of NFTs. So we want to make sure that there's a way for everyone to earn without the potential for too much exploitation. There will have to be some at some point, I'm sure, but we'll try and fight it whenever it does come up. And what I'm mainly talking about are like sweatshop situations. So we want to discourage that and make sure that everyone can play the game in some way and earn. So there will be tracks to earn LOCG, there will be tracks to earn NFTs, and there will be a way for everyone to play on day one without spending at all. So that's all about inclusivity and making sure that not only are we a game that everyone can play, but a game that everyone wants to play. And then, of course, everyone who's staking and everything, I assuming that we don't fail in some way, those cards will be extremely valuable. But there will also be ways for other people to get those cards relatively cheaply or through long-term play. So there should not be any pay to win in terms of there's some pay to win because all TCGs are effectively pay to win in the respect that if you buy a bunch of cards at once, then you're going to have some advantage over others who aren't able to purchase them all at the same time. But eventually you'll be able to get all those cards in some fashion, with some exceptions in terms of the art. So there'll be cards that are higher tier in terms of how they look, but not necessarily but they'll be the same power level effectively as the other cards, with one or two exceptions because of something specific that I can't go into yet.
Can we go? Can you and I talk about it later? Can you tell me?
Maybe.
Don't do it, Dave. Don't do it because someone will strong arm Ben and then it's out.
Yeah, it'll come out. Don't tell me anything. Don't tell me anything. I'll tell the community. I swear. There's a famous question. I'm gonna reframe it how it should be worded there, Jason. When Binance?
Yeah, it's maybe I can field this one. So we are in discussions with Binance, but it is not probably in the near future. We're obviously going to be looking at Binance Smart Chain and being multi-chain at some point. But I mean, as per every project, Binance is the kind of that's the target. But it's also interesting just to see how they navigate the political landscape that they're currently undergoing. So just to kind of answer that, we are in discussions with him. We don't have any definitive date or time, but yeah, it would be great if we could get that going at some point.
I've heard their listing requirements are quite high.
They are extremely high. And there also needs, I mean, what we a potential angle that we're looking at is obviously their NFT marketplace. So that could be a route, but there is many different options available to get in there. We're just investigating them one by one.
Yeah, it's definitely something we want to do. We got a question about becoming an alpha tester from Seeb. Can we become an alpha tester? You can sign up on the website. We've got the let me just find it here.
The waiting list.
Yeah, we've got the waiting list. I can't really you can't really see it on there. I can't share my screen because I have to use my phone for a moment. But there is an email, text field there. You can enter your email and sign up. And once all that's available, we'll definitely be reaching out to the community. And definitely if you're in Discord, you'll be aware. And also just quick question. Someone's asking about gas on the game. We're having a layer 2 solution with Polygon, so the gas fees should be effectively nil. But that's I had this conversation with Janet about that, and that was kind of her wording. So effectively nil. Okay,
well,
effectively.
I mean, Ethereum's going to be proof of stake anyways, right? So it'll all go away eventually.
Yeah, and it was going to be for 2017 and 18 and 19. But they'll get there. Oh, what else we got? Oh, Jez has definitely joined, but he missed the 5 seconds of summer clip. What other questions have we got? Let me load that up there. Guys, if I've missed your question too, you can feel free to copy and paste it again. Can we play multiple accounts? So Equilibrium asks, can we play multiple accounts, or will it be limited to one person, one account? What did you have in mind with that, Equilibrium? As in, if you had like one wallet address, can one wallet address be associated with multiple accounts in the game?
Your account's attached to your wallet, so in terms of you can move that wallet to whatever account you want, but the wallet, the stuff, everything stays with the wallet, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I'll let him type in case he's got the clarification for us.
Okay.
Well, quickly, does Designer Dave have a public social media account?
Yeah. So
I'll find it and throw it up there.
No, I got it. I'm at David K. Freed on Twitter. Just watch out. I'm very political. So just ignore my political stuff. You can also, if you're curious about me, I actually have my own website. You can go to and investigate all my stuff and get all my information and harass me in phone calls if you want.
Don't open that. You will regret it.
Yeah, well, I've always been public in this regard. You can actually go to my projects page. It's actually, I haven't updated it with some of my latest stuff. I guess I have to update my website again. Darn. I'll get to
that. I love that question. Do you think LOCG will leave Axie behind? Yes, 100%. 100%. Like, I think in the space that we operate, I mean, you just look at all these big tech companies. It's not the first to market. It's the business model that masters it. So 100% we're going to leave them behind. What obviously they're going to be going through massive lessons that we're going to learn from. So we're not going to, we're not going to replicate those issues. And keeping a very close eye in Southeast Asia. I've got a fairly strong network of people, especially based in the Philippines, and they are all desperately looking for the next Axie. So currently they can't even participate because the barriers are too high for them. So
yeah,
they're in a declining market, and I mean, there is speculation that it is kind of like a pyramid, and that economic principle that they've set it on is diminishing returns. So we want to not be in the same environment. So the future does definitely look bright for our business model as opposed to theirs.
Yeah, and not to disparage them, I know they're doing the best they can with what they have, but they're making a lot of design mistakes that we're not going to make simply because of the years of experience that I have. And I find their game to be quite inaccessible to most, and that's not a great way to have a game that goes gangbusters and has millions of players. So by my estimates, I'm hoping for a early player base of around 20,000 to 50,000 people, and I think from there it'll rapidly expand to 1 million more within the first year. That's sort of what I'm aiming for. That's my goal, and that's what we're preparing numbers around. And if that's an underestimate, that'll be a great problem to have, and I already have things set up in terms of how we mint cards that'll resolve those issues.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I think it's also not slag it. I think what they've done is an amazing feat. They've definitely built or created a new industry, and all kudos to them. But again, it's not going to be the first to market. It's going to be the ones who understand it and are agile and master it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, like, I wish all my competition really the best right at the end of the day, because competition breeds creativity, and it breeds healthy conflict or friction. So I think the market's massive. I don't think there'll be one. I think there'll be many.
Yeah, I certainly see NFTs expanding to encompass all of gaming, and I think it'll be 4 to 5 years before the big companies finally realize that they have sort of killed their own market and people are no longer interested in playing their games. Like, no one's going to be like, oh, yeah, let's play Call of Duty 15 for 8 hours a day every day for months and earn nothing. No, I don't think so. I'm going to go play this game over here that has an NFT model because I can earn that money back, and it's just a matter of time before all the indies are doing that.
That's what happened to me with World of Warcraft, David. I spent 2 years of my life. I had 2 million gold sitting in my account somewhere there, and what good does it do me right now? Nothing.
Nothing.
I've got not a single cent.
That's the thing with all these MMORPGs and stuff. They have their in-game economies, but they have massive what we called mudflation way back in the days when we were playing these things on fucking 46 computers and logging into BBS systems. All that money gets devalued over time as they make new expansions, and what do you do with that? Like it's no longer worth anything. So the economy design has to change in addition to the NFTs being added, and that's a thing that a lot of the newbies don't understand, and a lot of the old companies don't care for. Like EA will be damned before they stop selling loot boxes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I don't want to presume because World of Warcraft is pretty big, bigger than what you've contributed to the lore. But are you aware of the Vial of the Sands recipe in World of Warcraft? It was it was like the first two-seated two-person flying mount that you could craft if you found this particular recipe in alchemy. I think it was, which you had to go searching across this massive area to loot these things. And it was a very, very rare drop. And I got mine on my second jar. So if I could actually have the rights to what I make, like is possible with NFTs, like we've been talking about, I could possibly be living on the waterfront right now. But because it's owned by Blizzard and all I can get is some in-game gold that I can only spend in game, it's not gonna pay my rent. That's essentially the fundamental, the way I see it, the fundamental paradigm shift from the centralized gaming company to the power being in the hands of the players, and that's what Axie have done well. So Axie have really forged a good path into this space, but like Philip says, it's not who's first, it's who does it best. So that's where I think we definitely have that advantage. We are thinking like this. We're having these conversations. We're talking about the potential for sweatshops. We are thoroughly looking at this from a perspective of what should actually be hitting mainstream adoption, because a lot of people that come up with these projects, these blockchain projects, and I've watched it over 3-4 years now. They just don't really hit the nail on the head with this space, and we are just really driven to hit that. We want that mainstream adoption, 100%. And I've missed the chat here. So did anyone see any questions coming up there? What's the push to talk thing? You can't seem to unmute. I'm just going to fix that mic issue for Jezza. Just give me 2 seconds. So we get because he doesn't know where the button is to push it. Dave, while I have a look at that, would you mind having a look through?
Yeah. So there's a question. Because play to earn system would not be fair if one person would play 10 to 20 accounts to earn, just like Axie limiting one person per account. Right. You can try to do that. I don't know how Axie does it in terms of what's to stop someone from making another wallet, another account, and doing whatever they want. Are they banning IPs? Like, I don't think there's a way to stop that ultimately. But there are some ethical considerations, like if we detect too many if there's too many people in one location, we'll have to investigate for things like sweatshops and things like that. So that's something we're keeping in mind. And so if there's other abuses that would look the same, I suppose we'll uncover those as well. Is LOCG make our own games, or will it launch a gaming launchpad for partnerships with others? we are, so that's far off in the future. We're making our own games. We are 100% a game company, Rebel Labs, and we will be making our own games, and we have a plan for what games we're going to be making already, which will start with the card game. There will be a classic adventure narrative game that will sort of tell the story of the LOCG based universe, and then there will be an RTS in one of the blockchain worlds in the LOCG metaverse, and then there will be a 3D platformer, primarily action oriented, though it's quite far off, so we haven't determined too much about that. And then there's plans for an MMORPG, which will be a 5-year development cycle. So that one's going to take quite a while, and that's quite a ways off after a lot of these other games come out into the market. But that all requires us to expand up quite a bit, and we want to have slow and sustained growth as opposed to like just hiring a bunch of people at once, because the company culture is very important in terms of making sure that everyone who comes on board is going to be participating and making great games as opposed to just getting stuff out there. Our goal is not to just get stuff out there. Our goal is to make really great games that everyone's going to want to play. Yes, the word metaverse is coming everywhere.
Yeah, not the Zuckerberg one. Sift was asking about online gamers as ambassadors being great to promote LOCGame. Absolutely, Sift. And Philip, maybe you can update us on something with was it Ben we're talking to? I think clearly the main target we should be steering towards would be Twitch. It's heavy for online gamers streaming, so certainly that's on the cards there. Sift. We'll be hitting them up in due time. So there's even you can elaborate, Phil.
Yeah, we've got a new member of the team that started with us last week. We haven't done a public announcement, but it will come. He's based in Taiwan, and he is a reasonably, a reasonable influencer on Twitch, and he's going to help us develop that strategy further. It is an absolute necessity to be on these platforms. So yes, it is going to be part of the program. If you guys have any recommendations or online gamers that you like to follow, you think that they have great content, would be a great partnership or partner rather, please send us the details and we will reach out and we will see what we can do with them.
Aren't you afraid of missing out on the NFT hype by only launching your game in several months? That's from Peptan. No, we're not afraid. No. We're not here for hype. We are not trying to make a short-term money grab. We are here for the long term, and NFTs are the future of gaming.
It's the future of the internet, Dave. It's the future of the internet. So anyone that's after a NFT bubble or hype is in it for the short term, and that is absolutely not our strategy. So the price will go up, it'll go down. Eventually, it will. We keep the fundamentals right, it'll go up. But it is definitely the future of everything we understand about the internet. So, I mean, gaming is one side, it's going to be a big part of it, but we're also thinking about other NFT components or projects. We won't be able to disclose too much about that at this stage, but it is kind of like it will run, collateral to the game development or thinking. So metaverses are going to be the internet, and we want to make sure that not only our game, but the different projects that we do launch are going to be interoperable. So NFTs available in multiple multiverses, yes, it will be an option for us.
The other thing too is, from my 2 cents, Patron, that it's because, so what I was saying before about how for many years now, people that could have made a difference in the space haven't, and I think that's why, because they've been afraid of missing out on the hype, and they've jumped the gun and delivered less of a product that is just it serves to meet the hype, and that's it. Not all of them, obviously. I think there's some stellar projects out there. I think Illuvium is a great example of one. For example, the design, the graphics, the level of complexity they've got is amazing. But no, we certainly don't want to jump the gun just to meet a hype need, and then sell out the future of NFT gaming and delay it another three years. Like, it's no brainer for me. I think the latter is.
I think
we've
also
waited too long.
Just to kind of go back to the play to earn business model, or rather the opportunity around play to earn. Now, sadly, the economic, I suppose, prosperity around the world has been severely impacted. All you got to do is, I mean, I've just come out of Southeast Asia. I lived there for about 8 years. All you got to do is walk around the streets. I think, Dave, you're still there in Thailand. I mean, you got to walk around the streets to understand the economic impact that this has created, the pandemic. And the future earning potential has been severely interrupted or will never be the same for millions, hundreds of millions of people around the world. Now, the play to earn business model is an opportunity for all of these people to re-engage and participate in an earning option. So that is not a fad. That is the future of hundreds and hundreds of millions of people. If that is the case and it is successful, then people can obviously be empowered again with economic prosperity. And that's where blockchain comes in. Blockchain can come in and help the unbanked. That's where NFT gaming comes in. People can earn earn an income and participate once again in a thriving economy. So we don't believe it's a hype. I mean, we don't believe it's a bubble. People who are optimizing towards a bubble don't have that long-term view or rather ethical compass in place. We believe that it is changing hundreds of millions of people's lives around the world. It will, and we are optimizing and gearing ourselves towards that new industry of prosperity.
Being mindful of time here as well, guys. Just about 9 minutes or so, unless we have time to go over time. But is Jazza still around? Is he popping in and out, having phone issues?
No, I'm here.
There he is. Did you have any
hear me
questions?
all
Jazza? Yep.
Sweet. I just thanks guys for being online and that and sharing your time with us. The community really appreciates it. I definitely do. I the other night when we were online, we were chatting about a whole bunch of stuff with Dave, but I was thinking, since everyone's here and we've got the latest pool and that going for the NFT pool, just wondering, Dave, I don't know if you can elaborate a bit on the cards and what's coming out and stuff. That's I might have missed it at the start, but I think it's exciting stuff, and I think people would like to know about what's going on with all that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't talk about the pool cards, but basically, if you're staking for the long term, what is it, 6 months? Is it 3?
Yep. Yeah, 6 months. Yep.
Yeah. So if you're staking for the 6 months, you'll get a prestige or elite pack, and those prestige are going to be gold bordered cards, and the elite will be diamond bordered cards, and those will be extremely limited minting. And once they're done forever. So those cards will be highly valuable for anyone who wants to have a prestige or elite deck and really show off. And there'll be effectively no way to get them once they are fully minted. And the prestige I've estimated the prestige value at, I think it's 100 times. Was it 10 or 100 times? 10 or 100 times the regular cards, and then the elite at 600 times the regular cards. In terms of what you get from the staking pools, in terms of the cards themselves, there's the starter decks, and then the booster packs are the MCW NFTs. And I can't say too much about what's in the MCW ones, other than that there are going to be hidden prizes amongst them. Is it 12 special prizes? The potentially going to a game.
Oh yeah, those aren't hidden. They're on the website. I can load that up.
Yeah. I mean, you can see all those sorts of things. Those are the elite perks.
But what is hidden is the ones we haven't released yet for future rounds.
So in terms of the cards themselves, these will all be valuable cards that you can put into your decks, and they're interchangeable. The MCW and the regular cards, they're all interchangeable in terms of you can make a deck out of whatever you've got, and play against people with it, and that'll be on launch day. But Michael Carter Williams has to design the world first. So he'll be designing the world. I'll be making the cards based off of his inclinations, and I don't know what that will be yet. We have to set that time up in order to design them exactly as they will be. I will say that for the normal standard cards and for most of the LOCG blockchain worlds, there's 4 types of cards: commons, uncommons, rares, and legendaries. For collaborations, there's an additional rarity above that called a mythic, and a mythic card is extremely rare, and is basically a replacement for your legendary that will do incredible things. And so those collab cards will be quite valuable, and to have an elite mythic is just off the scale in terms of rarity. So that's kind of what you should be looking for in this staking pool.
Yeah, that's
Did
awesome.
you?
I was going to ask
sorry.
too, flowing on from that too, with the gameplay and the different cards and different packs you talked about coming out, the interaction, like playing together, how will that work? Like if you're bringing out different packs or series, is it just like going to change the pitches, or all the abilities change and when they clash, all that sort of stuff?
Totally new sets of cards. Every collaboration will be new sets of cards with new abilities and new themes and everything. So I'm not cheaping out on the design. I'm going full bore, and if Michael Carter Williams comes back and says, I want to do Cowboy World or whatever, we're doing a Cowboy World, and I'm designing cards based around cowboy themes. I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying that if that's what he wants to do. So yes, I mean, he's attached to basketball, and maybe he does want to do a basketball world, which is fine, and I'll design around that.
And then for like in future, like as the old the original series sort of thing, you bring out new decks. Let's say 5 series away, they'll all interact and everything like that. It's always going to be playable.
Yeah, 100%. All cards for all time will be playable. There will be, I'm hoping not, but there's the possibility that some cards will be so broken, in terms of like they do something crazy good that needs to be limited. There's a possibility of that. I'll be watching for that. However, because of the way that I've restricted certain cards and the way that I'm designing them, I don't think that will ever come up. But I'll be watching for things like broken infinite combos. But the way that the game is played, that shouldn't be possible. At least there should be some way to combat that with other cards in every circumstance.
Yeah, gotcha.
But balance is a delicate thing, so I don't want to promise that I'll never make anything broken, because inevitably I will, and then I'll have to eat my words.
I don't mind as long as I got those cards. It's all good.
Right.
and so
make it the elite pack.
in case you're wondering, Philip and Dave, who's been buying up all the lock boxes, you're speaking to them.
You've been buying all the lock boxes, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll be sure to make those very valuable. Don't worry.
He was I think the first lock star in Discord, first grinder. So I think naturally he knows the most about the project, and it's a no-brainer that he's snatching them all up. Because that's the thing, like you don't actually know value until you actually take the time to look into a project, because there are a lot of games out there, a lot of NFT games out there. How do you know which one to pick? You're not going to know which one has potential until you actually really spend the time, get to know the team, get to know the fundamentals, get to know the community and what they know about it, because they've been around longer. So why are they aping in? It's probably worth investigating why. Still also being mindful of time there, though. Thank you, Jezza, for unmuting your mic and jumping in there. I just want to give the opportunity as well to Nifty or Sift or Ultra, or who else we got? Any of the other mods, or anyone, if you wanted to jump in and ask something, now's your time, because we've got like a couple of minutes.
1 minute.
Nifty's microphone's off, so he's typing it. Come on, Nifty. Oh, Jezza asked them all. Good going, Jezza. I just want to say though as well, while I have the moment, Sift is my MVP of the community, 100%. And that's not to say anything about the other community members, because all the other community members back me up on this and they know exactly what I'm talking about. Sift, you are an absolute legend. You are a legend of crypto to me, and you've been around here. You've grown us. You've worked really hard to grow us and bring people into the fold. And I just wanted to say personally, thank you so much for all your hard work. And I'm sure all the other mods and Lockstars and insiders see what you do and appreciate it as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys. I think that's
Awesome, guys. Thank you for everyone participating and joining. We'll see you next week, same time next week, right?
Yep, exactly. So we'll do this weekly, and we'll keep it this sort of a format. So ask questions, and we'll answer what we can as much as we can in the hour, and then wrap things up and go grind hard on making this game. So thank you, everyone, and we'll be around. You can contact me in Discord, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.